Today we are meeting for our, I guess, our second debate, where essentially Les and Liv are going to discuss a number of things in regards to the Edge of Fate expansion. And I have already gone through all of the questions today. This is not going to be my first time looking at them. I'm going to ask each one of these to these folks, and they will have 60 seconds to reply. Look, what's that other rule? Do we have any other rules?
That's about it. I mean, just interruptions and additions are okay, maybe, if they're agreed upon.
Well, let's go ahead and just give a bit of an intro here into how this all started. Essentially, going into Edge of Fate, Les was very much upset with the price of Edge of Fate and said that it should not be $40. Whereas Liv says that it is going to be $40, or it should be $40. It's not necessarily the price point that I want to get too caught up on, but I know that is a big aspect. What I really wanted to focus on is, like, has Edge of Fate been a success? I think that's the big thing. Has it been a success? And currently right now, Les, who's arguing his stance on it, has also been playing more Destiny than maybe I've ever seen you play.
I came prepared.
You came prepared. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and just go ahead and kick things off. Was Edge of Fate worth it?
Ladies first, you go.
No, I went first last time.
Fine. What do you count as success? Are you counting like Bungie's goal, or are you counting number wise? If we're talking numbers wise, it was not a success. We're talking what Bungie wanted to accomplish in revamping the game. I think they did pretty well, but fell flat in a lot of areas, such as the portal, in my opinion. But the tier system and the quality of life stuff to like the armor stats and stuff were really good changes. And I'm actually a really big fan of them.
So you're saying it is worth $40?
Yeah. I'm talking about free stuff is good. Paid stuff is not.
He's saying the stuff like the portal that we got.
The quality of life stuff, besides the portal needing some updates, were decently good. But for the paid stuff, no. This ain't even worth $30.
Okay. Right, Liv?
I don't think I want to get too hung up on price either, because in the first debate, that's all we talked about. And I stand where I stood the last debate, where I think it's worth $40 because Les had argued that we get significantly less content for $40 this time. But I mean, we got the destination and the world tiers and the campaign and the narrative and the raid and the epic raid. And I think the big thing now is that this is more of a discussion of like the state of Destiny in Edge of Fate, including the free stuff. I'm sure we'll hit a lot on Portal and stuff, but this expansion's not done. And we paid $40 for the content that's coming in Ash and Iron as well. So we have the epic raid coming, the new activities that we haven't seen before that will get added to the portal, and, you know, like more events along the way. So new weapons, new armor with Ash and Iron as well. And we can't give a final, hey, this was what I paid $40 for. Did I want to pay $40 for that or not, until all of the content's here, in my opinion. And we got most of the same stuff that we normally get for $40, just not all at once.
All right. What is Edge of Fate's biggest W, but also biggest L? If you had to narrow it down to just one. Last biggest dub.
Biggest dub was the raid.
Okay. Yeah.
Biggest dub was the raid. We didn't think Bungie can do it and make it harder than Salvation's Edge. And they said, hold my beer. And he made the hardest raid for contests that they could ever make. They gave us 4 bosses, all damage cap, and your whole team had to be pretty much perfect. So I think the raid was the biggest W. The biggest L is Kepler. I think Kepler is a really bad destination. I think their philosophy of wanting to create secrets and all that did not work at all, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Liv, biggest dub, biggest L.
Dub for me, also raid, but I guess if we want to throw a different one in there that's not raid, narrative as well. I love raiding, so raid's always up there for me as long as it's challenging and also fun to teach people, and they exceeded my expectations in that regard. Narrative also exceeded my expectations though. I remember in the first debate, we were talking about how my expectations were pretty low. It's the start of a new chapter. It's probably going to be pretty slow. It takes Bungie a while to build up a story. It's not going to be as hype as some of our other narratives were. And I think this was just as good as Witch Queen. And people were overall pleasantly surprised by how they pulled off like the beginning of a chapter narrative. But the raid was also really good. Biggest L, I think I'd go for a less commonly talked about one that disappointed me, which was we pay for an exotic mission, and I don't think that this Graviton Spike was an exotic mission. It was a quest. And people don't really, I think they overlooked that because there were other things that were going wrong. But I think Bungie could have designed an exotic mission that was replayable, could have gone into the portal, and they just didn't design an exotic mission at all. So then if we look at the Sieve as the exotic mission, I think it'd be okay for that to be a limited time discoverable secret in Kepler if we got other new content with Edge of Fate. And when you're not really giving new activities or whatever, you have to give players more, and the Sieve should be available at all times, I think. And it should be rewarding, and it should, like, honestly even be part of the portal if that was their new thing they made for us.
Was there supposed to be an exotic quest? I couldn't remember. Was that part of the marketing?
Was that on the roadmap?
I don't think it was exotic mission. I think it's exotic quest.
Oh, they did say quest and not mission?
I think it's an exotic weapon quest, which we did get.
Yeah.
Not much, but it was a quest.
It was so fast. You could get Graviton Spike so fast.
And
like,
that corporate lingo came in at the perfect time.
Yeah.
They were like, exotic
so.
quest. Not much, but it is a quest. I will jump in. I'm gonna just jump in real quick, but I think there were a lot of more L's. You just wanted the biggest one, and I think Kepler, with how much they talked about it and what they were wanting to do, being as bad as it was just, I mean, in my eyes, I mean, some people might like it a lot, but I just think it's Reef 2.0 with vomit everywhere. It's kind of what it looks like to me. And there was no reason for me to go back. Like, I don't go back there unless it's a solo op for Caldera. That's the only time I go back to Kepler.
Caldera is new, and it's on Kepler, and you're grinding it, so that is Kepler. But
yeah, but I'd much rather farm K1 logistics.
For sure. I mean, yeah, but I don't think we disagree there. I don't think Kepler was an L. I think aesthetically, people prefer the look of the Pale Heart, or at least most people. I don't disagree with that statement. I don't think it was an L though. I think they did something really cool with using Matter Spark as the traversal option there. I think it opens up, like, in the future, they can make more destinations that aren't Sparrow friendly, because that's what they did. They were like, let's try to make a world that isn't Sparrow friendly, replace it with a different traversal option, and make it a little cool. So I like Matter Spark for traversing in place of Sparrow. I think it makes the map interesting. I don't think there are enough secrets, but if you actually went through and did all of the side quests and the intrinsics for Graviton Spike, they're there. It's not as fleshed out as I would have liked it to be. There should be even more, but I do think that world tiers are cool. I think the root of the argument is, though, there are very few things that are efficient for power grind and rewarding. And so the world tiers, if you're in Mythic on Kepler, it should just be more rewarding and people would go back.
You're right. Right on that for sure.
How would you rate the Edge of Fate campaign? Just number. If you could give me a number. Campaign, and this is narrative plus the delivery.
Gameplay?
Yeah.
Okay,
narrative
I was gonna ask.
Well,
so the total, the full package.
you want it like better or worse than this story expansion, or you want like an actual number?
I guess you get both because context is important. Because this was a very new experience for Bungie. The delivery with this expansion and campaign is a lot different. So
I'll break it down for you. Pacing, 5. Narrative, 8. Gameplay, 2.
Downplaying it.
okay, all right.
The only
Okay.
reason why I say narrative is an A for me was because it took a bit to pick up. It only started getting interesting in my eyes when we got the Ikora scene, and that was halfway through the story. Before that, I was like, what are we doing here? What the f is the point?
Yeah.
Like that's my biggest thing. But it does set up the future very well. Like I know I give it a really bad, like harsh, like take the first day, but I sat back and like thought about it. I was like, with what they were given, they actually did pretty well in setting up the next saga. With like the whole 9 now being intertwined with us, and 3 died, and what are the consequences with that? It's gonna be interesting to see how they go forward with it. But yeah, that's kind of my ratings for it. And I think it's worse than Witch Queen, better than Beyond Light. That's where I'm at.
Okay. I'm trying to remember Beyond Light's campaign too.
So bad.
Yeah.
in my
Chasing after.
opinion. a lot of chasing after.
Narrowness.
Yeah. If we're breaking it down, pacing, narrative, and I don't remember what the third one used. Oh, gameplay. Gameplay for me, yeah, I wouldn't say much higher than less. I think that the biggest L of the whole campaign for me was, like, I just complimented Matter Spark as a traversal option because it allows for cooler destinations that don't have to be Sparrow friendly. Hate it as a gameplay mechanic. I did not like it. I didn't think I would, and I was worrisome that Bungie would pull like a Lightfall, like here's Strand, do a training thing with Strand on us. And it's kind of what Matterspark felt like at some times. I think if the campaign was not as long and you didn't have to do as much of Matterspark as a game mechanic, then it might have felt a little better, but it was just too much for me. I do still like Matterspark as a traversal option though, but so gameplay like 3 or 4, I was bored. I didn't want to run it on all 3 characters. Narrative, I don't think it was slow at the beginning. I just think they didn't show as much at the beginning because the campaign was too long. Like there's just way too many steps. So narrative's like probably a 9 for me. I think it's up there with, it either ties or is better than Witch Queen for me. I really like this narrative. And I also think people just like overrate Witch Queen sometimes because we have so many other bad narratives like Lightfall. And then what was the other one? Pacing?
Yeah.
3 or 4. It was too long.
So we're in agreement for most
we're
of
in
that.
agreement. Yeah.
Like it does.
It was a long campaign.
It could have done a lot. It was a long campaign, and then there's still side quests, and I just can't be bothered to do them.
Yeah.
This wasn't really supposed to get us hype for, hey, you're defeating the big bad next. This was just the start of that next 5 years, however many years Bungie has planned out. So I think if we're looking at where we're at in the new chapter and what they cooked narrative-wise, it was a 9 for.
Oh, I'm coming!
I don't know why that just
What was that?
I don't know why that just
So what exactly did we just pay $40 for? And that's like in its totality, what does $40 actually cover? And then Luke, could you look up the price? How much was Curse of Osiris?
Curse of Osiris, yeah, pop it up.
I think we kind of covered that in our opening statement though, where we don't even have everything we paid $40 for yet. And I don't want to do another what if.
I think Ash and Iron is free though.
No, that's part of Edge of Fate. That is part of Edge of Fate. The Epic Raid is the biggest sell of Ash and Iron.
Epic
you
Raid.
have to, so if you look at their
You have to-
timeline,
that's true.
you have to have Edge of Fate to access. The new activity is Edge of Fate specific, and the Epic Raid is Edge of Fate specific. They're trying to pace it with events and major updates and not give you everything that they cooked for the year at once. So this year we get 2 destinations, 2 campaigns, 2 sets of, like armor set bonuses and archetypes and weapons and epic raids and whatever else that they've got under their sleeve. But we don't have everything we paid $40 for yet, so I think it's unfair to fully judge it. We can judge what we did pay for so far, which is campaign, narrative, raid, exotic quest. I guess they didn't say mission, destination, world tiers, whatever. But we still got the new activity, epic raid, new weapons, whatever else they say is part of the $40 we paid.
Look, you got a price on Curse of Osiris.
Yeah, $19.99, $20.
Oh my God, we paid $20 for that shit. God, dog.
We paid for a destination that no one wants to go back to because there's no reason to go back to, only for maybe your weekly mission to get a tier 5, and that's about it.
But Les, do you think it could be better if they made it more rewarding to go do a higher world tier?
Here's what I would say. This is where the quality of life stuff comes into play, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought about this long and hard, by the way, just for this moment.
I got you.
This is where Bungie folded on this expansion in my eyes. They folded in the sense that they put all their eggs into quality of life, and they still gave us a half-baked quality of life expansion. And I'll go into this. We don't do raids and dungeons for endgame anymore. Those are long gone. I don't see anybody doing Desert Perpetual anymore. Hold up. Let me speak. They folded on the portal system in the sense that not everything that was in the game is available to play in the portal and get rewards. They put all their eggs on quality of life and resetting the game, and they still gave us a half-baked. We don't have everything in the portal. I know they're trying to bring it in slowly but surely, but when you're trying to sell expansion on quality of life, it needs to be close to perfect. They've done this a lot where they focus on a major change and it comes out half-baked. They did it with Trials of Osiris coming back, was a horrible experience. Crafting, horrible experience. When is it gonna be time that they learn and they actually get it right, or close to right the first time? I named a couple of things they could have done easily the past 2 days, and I feel like it would have made the portal experience so much better. Like adding encounters from raids into the 6-man pinnacle ops. That would have been easy happiness from everybody in the community. You put dungeon encounters into the portal. That would be so much easier. You maybe even add like a GM, like the GM conquest, make them a weekly thing. What messed them up is them being stingy and not giving us everything we already had in the game. That was the problem.
I also prepare for this moment because I know you have your like Twitch, Destiny 2, Twitter perspective on this, but we're not the only people who play the game. Like you said, no one does dungeons or raids for in-game content anymore, and that is literally all I do. Like I teach people raids and dungeons, and I raid almost every single day. So you need to get to 450, and you need tier 5s, you need to grind. What I think that I agree with you that it's half-baked. I agree with you that the quality of life changes were not perfect and that they needed to be polished. But if you go back to the first debate, I said that then. I said, they're not going to change who they are as a company. They're going to need to polish things. It's going to be buggy. We know this about Bungie, so I'm not being unrealistic. I think what the game is doing right now, though, is meeting everyone where they're at, no matter what the grind means to you and how much time you're willing to spend on it. So, like, I have friends here who have played this game since D1 beta and only play solo and hate being on a fire team, LFGing. They don't want to do any of that. And they've been begging for solo ops for years. They would get on and do guard strikes. Why does that keep happening?
Next question.
You did that.
I'm kidding. Go.
They would get on and do Vanguard strikes, and now they like love the game and think that the expansion's great for solo players. So I think they half baked it for solo players, for like the casual solo player, because it's not as rewarding as it should be. And then they half baked it for the people that love to grind, because there's only one option that's efficient and you have to do that or else you can't get to 450. So I do think it's half baked for you, but they're trying to strike this balance of how can we make everyone happy at once. And solo players that aren't on Twitch, that just play the game because they like the game and they want solo content, they're happy. And is that who Bungie should cater to? I'm not saying that that's the right answer, but
I'm glad you brought up the solo and casual player base. I actually have an article here from this man named Paul Tassi who says the Edge of Fate portal cannot sustain the game.
All right, hold on.
All right.
So let me just jump in here real quick. I do think the biggest limiting factor, and we are getting, and let me also bring up, we are getting dungeons in the portal. It's coming in Ash and Iron. But
here's the thing.
Hold on.
Yep.
Why could it be now?
Because I think the biggest limiting factor in all of this is the tiered loot. See, they're not going to throw anything in the portal if it does not have tiered drops tied to it. And look, imagine if give me a name of a drop from Duality Dungeon. Give me some. Oh, what was the SMG?
Storm Chaser, the linear.
Storm Chaser linear, yeah.
Okay, but what was the SMG? It was like Unforgiven. I think it was Unforgiven.
I think is what it was called, yeah.
Imagine if they would have just brought it back and it either had perks or it wasn't even a tiered drop. They'd be like, but you could do it in the portal. It's just not going to be tiered loot. It's going to be old loot. I'm not, look, I guess I get in some ways kind of like making an excuse, but like, I think the rewards are so important that everything they do put into the portal, it has to be very well thought out and has to have good loot tied to it, like forever loot. Because that's kind of the way I'm like looking at all the tier drops at this point, even though yes, they're not featured, and that's a whole other argument. We can get into another point, but it needs to be loot that we're gonna, at this point on, I don't ever want to let go of a tier 5 ever.
Yeah.
Sure.
This brings me to my next question. Has tiered loot succeeded?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
100%. There's no doubt in my mind it succeeded. This is the first time, and I would say years, that I see a tier 5 and I'm like, oh shit, this is the first time.
Yeah.
I see a tier 5, I get like hype for it.
I mean, and I'm on the other end of like I said, this isn't as rewarding as I want it to be for a player like me, who I love raiding. I love raiding, and I wish that I could just spend all day like teaching people how to raid. But that's not very rewarding. So my power is not 400. And I haven't spent a lot of time in the mines because I'm raiding. And so, yeah, I think tier 5s are awesome. I think tiered loot is doing exactly what it should. And I'm in your boat, Cross, of like that RuneScape mindset almost of if you don't grind for it, you don't deserve it. Because I don't think I deserve tier 5s. If I wanted them, I should power grind like everyone else. So,
right.
Yeah, no.
Damn fucking right. Don't grind, you don't get tier 5. That's how that works.
Another Cross quote though, like I don't need tier 5s. I think they're awesome. I think a player like Les has been playing the shit out of this game because he loves having the best of the best. But I don't really care. I'm fine with tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. I'll get there. I'll get there eventually.
People are meant to have tier 5. It's okay.
I will get there when I stop raiding.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not done raiding
just giving you shit.
All right. This question is already being addressed. Is Edge of Fate too grindy? Bungie's already said they are addressing this in Ash and Iron, so obviously they think it's too grindy too. But y'all's thoughts?
Well, I think I kind of just answered that. I don't think it's too grindy. I think that it's what you grind. Like, no one wants to do the same mission 1,300 times like DeFizzle. I don't even think DeFizzle wanted to do the same mission 1,300 times. But the grind itself, if it takes 100 hours to get to 450, I'm about to be the most disliked video ever. I don't see a problem with that. Everyone for years in this community has been like, where's the grind? I don't want exotic Ingrams are falling from the sky. Nothing feels special anymore. Everyone can have what I have. And I don't think everyone should have the best of the best. Like, play the game, grind it, or don't. Like, I don't know. You can still get a God roll tier 3 weapon, but you could also grind and have a whole tier 5 set of armor and the best weapons and every perk on your weapon. Like, I think you can do whatever you want with the game. They're not forced. It's not like you can't play in-game content if you don't have tier 5. You're cooler if you have tier 5.
That is true. Yeah,
I think
pretty cool.
so. I'm gonna jump in now, but the grind I'm okay with. I think the incentive to grind is, and it's kind of whatever in my eyes. Like you said, some people don't like the tier 5 loot. I want tier 5 loot, so I'm gonna grind. But there has to be an incentive as well. This could have been a perfect opportunity for Bungie to include clans being an important thing in this game and actually expanding it like an MMO thing. Like playing with clanmates increases your prime chance drop. You play activities with more players, your prime chance drops go up. That way solo ops isn't the best way to go.
Well, they did do that, like clan. You get that clan unlocked. That
you get that clan boost, but I'm saying like a substantial boost. Like if you're playing with more people in an op or something, you'll get like a badge on your name or something like in the menu that says increased drop chance for prime, and then it'll be like another one like when you're playing with your clanmate at the time. It will give an even bigger. That incentivizes you to go play with your clanmates and actually be in a clan and play with your friends. And it doesn't just get you to just grind solo ops all day. The grind is okay in my eyes. It's just there's one optimal way to do it, and if you're not doing it, you're kind of hurting yourself. Is the way I see it.
I think we agree on that's what I just said too.
Okay. I also think the reason why there's so many players playing still is because we do have a new system in place. I think once people start getting their builds at tier 5, they won't be playing as much anymore. They'll come back for the new content for a week and just get off. If I have a full PvP tier 5 set right now, why do I need to play Renegades and get more and grind my ass off again just to get tier 5? That's a different set bonus.
Because I think they'll try to switch it up.
The portal grind is not fun. Like the power grind right now is not fun. But I don't think anyone can sit there and be like, this is a fun experience. It could be so much better. Luke, you are 92 power, my man. Get to 400 and then come back to me and be like, damn, this was a show.
I think that loops into the is Bungie listening to us question though, because in my opinion, they are. And so I think it's unfair right now to say Bungie will not listen to any of these complaints about loot or activities not being rewarding, and they won't change anything. I think they will. I think Renegades will try to toss things up. But also, again, if you get a full tier 5 set of armor and next expansion, you decide, I want to do more raids and I want to just play the game the way that I want to. I don't want to sit in Caldera. Then you don't have to play other activities. But I think Bungie overall is listening, and that gives me hope at least, because I mean, just today they said, hey, we heard you. You want Grandmasters. We're bringing it back. Or, hey, you think it's unfair that we disabled Encore before the day 1 race because only some people got to grind it. Okay, we'll bring it back before the day 1 race. They don't make perfect decisions. I have plenty to criticize, but I think they're listening. And I think that they're communicating that they are listening.
I've heard that before.
Right, but it's actually happening less. Like we said 2 weeks ago, we want Grandmaster back, and it's back. We said 2 weeks ago, we want these people banned and to do something about it. And Bungie's had a very serious problem in the past.
Like if banning cheaters wasn't supposed to be an automatic thing. We're not gonna clap Bungie for having a anti-cheat system and wanting to ban people. No, there's no way we're doing that. There should have been an anti-cheat system in fucking place already. There's no way we're clapping them up for fucking banning people. There's no way.
Calm down.
This should be normal. No, Nick, this is the reason why I get upset, because we let Bungie get away with so much shit. 2/3 of the fucking teams were cheating, and they come on and say we're banning these people. Okay, how about you have a fucking anti-cheat system that actually works in the place? I play PvP mostly, and I've played so many cheaters. That is the biggest problem.
Like I disagree, though. You're acting like I disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
I'm disagreeing with the part that you're like, we tell them to ban people. No. That should have been automatic from the start.
Okay,
Like,
well, you're
they-
yelling, so you're not listening to me. You cut me off.
because you're
But
saying
I'm not clapping for
no.
them. I'm not clapping for them. I'm saying if the question is, are they listening? They're listening. If you remove that from the equation, they're still listening. Yes, they should have a better anti-cheat. I'm just saying historically, they were not fucking banning people. It was way worse. It would take them months. It would take them months to even acknowledge in a TWAB that they needed to ban people. That's the comparison I was trying to make. Not that their anti-cheat isn't shit. It is. We have a cheater problem. And I don't think that them banning these world's first people will fix it in the future. So I'm with you on that. You were angry about that, which I get, but like I'm saying historically they've taken so long to ban people and this time they did it more quickly, which is a positive for Bungie. I'm not trying to clap for them.
We're agreeing too much.
No. This is good. This is good.
Oh, yeah, he's
I like it.
Process was toxicity, man.
This is good. Okay, let's get to the big thing. How's everyone going to feel going into a new season with new featured gear, new featured exotics? If you have weapons that do 10% more damage and you have armor that takes 15% more damage. I mean, the both of those are significant. I never thought I would ever break up with Aberrant Action, but because there's that rocket assisted sidearm that drops from Crucible that has the same role, I'm going to pick that every single time over at Aberrant once I get the God roll. But how do we feel about, because the tier system is good. I'm loving the loot. It's incentivized me to do shit like grind Caldera hundreds of times. But now we're going into a situation here in about 4 months. We're not gonna say goodbye to that stuff. It's not hard sunsetting, but it is gonna put the new stuff in focus.
So your overall question is, repeat it for us.
Like, how do we feel about being limited to what we can use essentially? Not limited to what we're used, but like things are just gonna be way better when they're new than the old ones. And I think my take on this is I think they perfected that kind of system with the artifacts being really strong perks for certain like element types. So like I don't think there's a need to feature certain exotics and make certain things just do better when we have the artifact system. The way that it seems like they're trying to make us play the way they want, like they were like, we want you to use these exotics, but like there's some people that have a build that they've loved forever and they want to just see how that performs in the new conquest activity, but they can't use it because they're tied down to the featured exotic list. So I think they should have just stopped at artifact mods and just be like, hey, look, every season these elements are going to be really good, but your other builds are going to be just as good as well if you perfect them. That's kind of the way it should be. The whole featured exotic, I mean, it's terrible, man, because I want to use Verity's Brow for Conquest and I can't because it's not featured. I want to see how good it can do. So that's where I'm at. And it really worries me. And I hope Bungie kind of makes a TWAB or like a TWID, whatever, explaining everything and what they're changing, because that's a major issue going into Renegades, and I think it needs to be addressed.
I think it will be addressed. I know that that's not like a great answer to contribute, but I think it'll be addressed. I think they're probably still deciding what to do because I don't even have a solid answer on what I think the best solution is there. I think the idea was push people to use different things, obviously, because people just use the same, whatever's meta, like Cross with his little blocky sword last season. Mm-hmm. So they're pushing people to use things differently. I don't think it has any place in contest. If I can't use something that I want to use for a damage rotation in contest, I don't know that has a place, but I think the feedback's been pretty loud on that. So I don't know.
I think they're going to walk it back. I think they're definitely going to remove the featured exotic list at least. I think the seasonal bonus stuff they're going to keep because I don't know about you guys, but I can't really feel a difference when I'm rocking a full like new gear set and not rocking one. But the featured exotics is what really kills that for me.
So you don't think the 10% and 15% is a big enough deal?
I don't think it's that big a deal. I was really against it at first, but I'm kind of just like, whatever.
I want to say I am
like,
against.
Good builds are going to be
good
builds. Like my good builds are going to be good no matter what. Like 10% will just make it better, or it's not going to make it much worse.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of making you having to grind new stuff, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. Because right now, Mythic is just us sitting in the back of the map, plinking at a freaking boss. No matter if you have 15% damage list or not, you're getting on. Like that doesn't matter. Everyone is still sitting in the back, plinking with their scout rifles until the guy dies.
So me and Les both said we think Bungie will address it, and we have the same opinion on that one, mostly.
So you guys, y'all are okay with the reset going into the next season?
They talked about them making it better, though, no? Right? Did they say they were making the power grind better?
They're going to make the power grind better in Ash and Iron. But what I'm saying is you guys are okay with the resets and the weapons that we currently have that are tier 5 won't be have the damage increase. I understand the feature stuff because I don't believe that exotics should be on there shouldn't be in a featured exotic list either.
You want to talk, Liv? You want to say?
No, I'm just saying, yeah, y'all are both. I mean, I don't have a super strong opinion here. Like I said, I didn't do the whole 450 grind yet. Got a power grind. I've been in such raid mode. That's what I do every single time we get a new raid. I live in that thing for weeks. So I don't have a super strong opinion yet because it hasn't really impacted me, but I see it being a problem. I don't know if y'all have a more creative solution to push people to use different shit every week, every season, but
I know. That's why I'm kind of bringing it up. I honestly don't have a way. Like
I don't have one.
And y'all probably see that the formula.
This is what I would do. Imagine if they added slots to certain exotics every season that maybe adds an additional perk to the exotic. For example, I'm rocking Starfire Protocol. It's the featured exotic this season. Not forced to use it, but I can use it. It has an extra slot in it where I can make it so my grenades cause double ignition or something. It's something creative that's tied to that specific exotic or something like that. So it makes you want to try these exotics that were forgotten, but they have a twist to them this time around. You know what I mean? I don't know how feasible that is.
I'm personally in camp of update exotics permanently
and just make them that's also
better.
too that's also really good, but like I'm kind of talking in the perspective of like, how do we make the exotics that have been reworked but still aren't that good? Like, what can we do? And I think just giving them something that it does additionally on top of what it does for like an episode or an expansion story wouldn't be a bad idea. But I think the featured list should just go away though.
Okay.
But I just don't know what they can do. And also make it a year instead of 6 months
For the
years.
featured exotic list?
Or just like the gear stuff, like make it so the stuff that I earn now is good until
the
that's what we've
expansion.
been doing.
You know what I mean?
That's what we've been doing though. Like whatever is good at launch of Final Shape is still good at the launch of Edge of Fate. So I think that they're like, hey, here's Arms Week, here's Solstice, here's Ashen Iron, here's a bunch of events. You're not really gonna be able to like leave for more than a few weeks if you want all the new weapons and all the new armor and all the new grind. And then Renegade's gonna come around. You have a new destination and campaign and weapons, and you want to get all that too. And I think that they're trying to like embody the looter part of looter shooter, but they're not doing it well in terms of rewarding players. They thought out the plan of like, how do we get people to keep logging in? But like, I don't want to keep logging in and doing the same thing, Bungie. So I think there's just more polish there, but I don't think that we should have any bonus that lasts for a year. I think that gets people bored.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, I was just telling the chat the other day, like I'm even bad forward thinking on this. Like, it's just almost like this, we're living through an experiment, and we just have to see if the 6-month thing is actually good or not. Now, to just conclude things and just wrap things up, Liv, I'm gonna let you answer this one first since Les started things off. Okay. Would you recommend Edge of Fate to someone?
Yeah, I have already. I have a couple friends here who have gone back into Destiny and they hadn't played since D1. Not necessarily, like I would have recommended Final Shape to them, but it kind of always felt like you enter the game and it's so overwhelming. You will never have the stuff that everyone else has if you just want to jump into an expansion. I don't think it was hard to get those things. Like exotic Ingrams reigned everywhere. But I think any game, I'm not just talking about Destiny, I'm not just talking about Bungie's ideas. If any game has a reset to this extent, I always tell people like, I mean, it's a good time to jump in because everyone's 10 power and everyone's learning this new narrative together. There's no like previous lore you really have to understand, and no one has any tiered gear or weapons entering this. And so I would recommend it to them in that sense. Like you get a feel for Destiny and what Destiny will be for the next few years. Do I think it's very rewarding? For players like us who have been playing for years and who have done every single thing in the entire game, we are bored. We want new activities. We want more in the portal. For someone who I'm just recommending to join the game, they have so much to do in this game before they get bored. It is still an overwhelming amount of content in the game for someone who's never played it. So for a brand new player, I think sure, hop in. You're not gonna feel super behind. Does that mean that the game shouldn't be more rewarding or polished or whatever? No, I think that there's a lot of work to be done, and that if Bungie doesn't continue to do it, they are screwed. But I do think that new players would have a good time right now, especially with solo ops.
Nice.
I would tell them if they want to get to Destiny's, now's the starting point, but don't buy Edge of Fate. You can do everything in this game through the portal. It's all free, and you don't need Edge of Fate. I would only recommend Edge of Fate when you have played everything else in the portal and you're like, okay, I'm actually invested in this game. I'm gonna buy Edge of Fate, see what the story's like moving forward. But it's a really good starting point for a player because the portal's pretty simple to understand. You go in there, you see a bunch of activities, and you play what you want. might not be the most efficient, but I think a new player doesn't really care what's efficient or what's not. They just want to play everything. And there's really not much that Edge of Fate itself as paid content offers to a new player. So I would just tell them, just don't buy Edge of Fate yet. Play everything else in the game and then see where you're at with it.
I would only say, because I'm in the boat of we pay for a raid, a narrative, a destination, whatever. If you're brand new to the game and you don't have that experience, like we just started a new chapter, so you should experience this narrative. It's going to set you up for the next few years, and you should do a raid with me. That's what I would tell someone that I'm recommending to the game. So like, I want them to have access to my favorite content in the game. And I think that if Bungie told me I'm paying for a destination, campaign, and raid for $40, that like I would recommend that someone else spends that as long as they have the means to.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, y'all both make fair points. I could see on the side where, hey, just don't spend any money right now and just jump in and play the portal and try out some of the different activities. At the same time, I'm kind of the kind of player that needs context for why it is I am grinding. And so I guess the campaign and raid would give me that context. It's like, okay, I'm leveling up to do those things. Yeah, we're in a weird situation because this is the rollout right now is over the next 6 months, and Ash and I know is going to be a really big part of it. So I'm sure we will meet back again. And this was a pleasant debate, guys. Good job. It was you guys were pretty civil.
Yeah.
There wasn't no
Pretty civil.
No argument back and forth. So I do have to agree. I think Kepler, I feel like it could have hit more. Like I feel like
for the hype they were giving it, it did not hit the way.
I'm not giving it hype. I'm saying it's just so different than what we've like the Sparrow replacement, the side quest. I don't know if either of you have done every side quest. Cross didn't even have the Graviton Spike intrinsics until a couple days ago. So I think it's worth like, if you want to give an opinion on a destination they made,
I didn't have the
play
cabinets.
that.
I had the intrinsics.
Okay. Might be. If you want to give an
gun
opinion,
in the game right now, okay? You can't insult me.
Hey, mine too. I love that shit. If you want to give an opinion on a world, play it the way that play the content they gave you. Go do the side quest. Do it all, and then do what I'm doing, which is complaining that I wish I had a reason to go back to Kepler on Mythic or like a high difficulty and get rewarding loot.
I gotta ask, is everything pre-Edge of Fate free, or is it still paid?
They had a big sale going into Edge of Fate.
It was like a massive
Damn,
sale.
but why can't they just make that shit free, bro? God, that is such a good entry point for players, man.
Is it though?
Like, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
You get a ton of content for free. If people played all the content we did, if they did all the raids before Edge of Fate, bro, people will get hooked.
Dude, I wouldn't recommend anybody. I'd be like, what are they getting? What loot are they getting?
I would recommend it for the
Well,
loot.
because I think some of the activities in the portal are behind a pay, is what chat was saying, and not everything in the portal is free. I thought it was. I thought everything in the portal is free to everybody.
Can you do Caldera if you don't own Edge of Fate?
I have no idea.
I don't
wouldn't be
know.
surprised if you can, but like I'm saying, like the exotic missions and stuff, like do you have to pay for that stuff, or is it free?
I don't actually know the answer to that question. I guess none of us do. I would say there's plenty, like I said, there's so much for a new player to do in the game. No, they don't have to buy Edge of Fate first, but I'm more on the crossboat of like, I want to know why am I here? What am I going to be fighting soon? What's the narrative? Like what the game has to have some story, but I think you could do so many free dungeons and raids at this point if they are free.
It's like a tutorial is the way I would see it. Like this is what you're getting. There's more, but you have to pay for it, obviously. So it's like, but because right now the game is free to play, but before Edge of Fate and everything, like, it felt like free to try.
It's still
and
free
I think
to try.
It's still free to try. Yeah, because a lot of the stuff is still paid, but like I think it just comes down to Bungie. Like does Bungie really make a lot of money on old content? Like I feel like it being free will probably generate more money for them in the future, long haul, because you'll actually have players. Because I think the biggest slap in the face is you'll start playing and then you get to a point and you just get hit with a freaking wall. Gotta pay for this shit. I think that's the biggest slap to the face to a new player. It's like, why am I gonna pay? I just started playing. Why am I gonna pay?
Yeah,
you don't have to.
I'm kind of just whatever, but the whole in the monetization model is just kind of all over the place, and there's content missing from the game and all kinds of stuff. I'm more focused on like what I get to experience or what we get to experience on a regular basis. And someone brought it up here recently, like I think it might have been maybe Scaro, how the destinations, like we're moving away from like the running into other players in the wild on destinations, and it now just being our own instant experience. And like I know we've already kind of like rounded off our discussion here, but like, do y'all feel like that's a good direction to go? Like, because at one time I kind of like envisioned like, what if we ever have a day where we had 30, 40 guardians on a single destination, and it was this big, huge world that we could run around and interact in. Granted, it doesn't seem like we have the technical capabilities to do that, but
with no dead consoles in the loop.
But if we're just sitting there saying what you want versus what's possible, which one would you prefer? A more MMO approach or the more single player, solo player approach with, your co-op experience?
Les, you can go first.
I would like more of an MMO experience because a lot of the stuff in the game you do as a team. So why should it be different for these patrol areas? That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, 40 players though, I don't think we'll ever get to that. But like Escalation Protocol was really cool because you had to get 9 people in there to actually go to the end unless you were just absolutely cracked. And it was a pretty good accomplishment, I guess. The MMO approach is always going to be the answer, but it's going to need knowing how this game works, there's going to be a trade-off to it. And I don't know what the trade-off can be. Yeah. And I kind of don't want to find that out either because it might not be good.
Cross, I want this game to be like old school RuneScape. I want clan housing, and I want
trading. I want to trade a tier 5 for Glimmerman and just you know what I mean? Like
I think that if we could embody old school RuneScape, I think we'd all be happier.
God dog it. Yes.
I'm telling you, man, trading would be great.
Look, I'm just saying, if we had some sort of currency, and like if you were gonna keep tier 5s like ultra rare like it was or kind of is still, I don't know. I think trading would be pretty fucking hot. I mean, you see it working in Path of Exile.
It would be so hot. Yeah.
I think it's just to chime in here on the what to add to what route to take with the new destinations. I think the thing I've been feeling this way for a little bit, that the thing that Bungie should prioritize most is ad density, because when it comes to scaling difficulty, we've got the world tiers and mythic, and like people are saying they hate it. Like the bullet sponges, it's not working. Everyone has said for a very long time that builds being strong and fun and like good uptime is like really, really fun. But the way you solve that has to be more ads. It can't be just like making bosses more chunky, because then it feels like you're not doing anything.
Well, that's a thought process. Like imagine if a destination was MMO-ish to the point where let's take New World for instance. Remember how zones had different levels, and like if you were like, I'm gonna push north, get ready to get fucked because everything there is going to kill you. You know what I mean? So either A, you level up, or B, you brought some friends to hopefully tank some damage, and maybe you make it to the settlement or something like that. But the point is, like, I would love something like that in Destiny. But again, it just doesn't seem like it's possible to add that level of scope. The world is just not, none of the destinations are just that, they're not that big. They don't seem to be able to. What is our biggest destination? Is it EDZ?
Biggest?
City?
Biggest?
They said that Kepler was the biggest.
I think Kepler is the biggest because we get 4 regions and there's levels to it as well. So it's like there's the high, the level, the middle, and then the low ground of it. So,
I'm gonna be honest, it just doesn't feel bigger. And maybe it's just it's all the caverns and stuff like that, you know.
I think that is it. Like they make sure that you can sparrow region to region, and I think if we didn't get those fast travel points around Kepler, we would be upset about how long it takes to travel across it. Like I can tell it's big. I've spent a decent amount of time in Kepler, but I agree with you. It's like the fact that sometimes you're just a ball, so you don't really feel like it's a big like open world with a skybox. But they said it's the biggest destination they've ever.
I think it's this game, like I know I like Bungie a lot, but man, no game has done what they've done though. Like no studio's done it. They got 6-man raids that run pretty well with pretty complex mechanics, and with the graphics that we have, it's kind of impressive what they're able to do with this game. Like you see all these games that are coming out now, they're like, oh, full MMO experience, but you look at the graphics and the graphics are terrible, especially for like a new gen game.
Warframe's hot.
So it's like Warframe is another case though, because like I don't know how they do it. They got some witchcraft in that shit. Because the amount of stuff they have in that game and the way it runs and how like polished it is mind-blowing. But like let's think about it. They're like the only 2 games that look as good as they do and have as much content as you can do. You know what I mean?
All right, I gotta go do shit. Let's get this vote. Chat, who won?
Luke wins.
I got it.
Do
I
need to
got it.
put in the...
Someone said Luke wins. I'm kind of with that one, man. I don't know.
Luke has aura.
I have been winning. I've gotten so many levels from this.
I was trying to keep a straight
love
face
it.
sometimes.
I love it, man. I love
Oh my God. Liv is winning right now. Oh my God.
It's close. It's close.
it. That's not close.
It's close.
Man. I don't know. I'm curious what the vote would have been like last week before Sosa. I feel like Sosa's has kind of shifted things. You know what I mean? All right. Well, it looks like Liv is going to win this, guys. She's sitting at 63% right now. Les is at 37%.
Les, Benny
we
voted for you.
agree.
Benny?
We agree on a lot of things though, but I think that Liv is I'm not gonna say Liv is new to the game, but she's been here for 3 years, right? Like I've seen how Bungie functions and how they work and how they word things, and it always ends up the same. They always like hype up something, we get it, it's kind of underbaked, and they work on it for a year, they make it good, and then they're moving on to a new system. That's like how they always work.
I think you're someone who you want the best of the best. You want to be 450 before you even think about anything else.
Yeah.
But when I think like, what can I get on the game and do? I'm like, okay, just because I've done it 100 times doesn't mean someone else has. And that's like rewarding to me. Being able to get more people to like the game and play the game. I think that's way more fun than power grinding a 450. Way more fun.
All right. That's it, guys. That's it. This concludes our second debate. We shall have another one post Ash and Iron, and I guess we will have another one leading up to Renegades, because so far the biggest selling point to Renegades, which I know Bungie hasn't revealed anything about it, but it's Star Wars, and I don't know about you guys, but that ain't enough for me. All right, I'm not.
The film badge at the bottom of the DLC.
I don't care. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lightsaber would be cool, but lightsaber ain't gonna make me just jump into that shit. It's gonna need to be more.
I haven't seen Star Wars. I know nothing about Star Wars. So
with pokey sticks, you know.
sure, but like
You haven't seen any Star Wars? Like not even like.
never
don't-
seen Star Wars.
You don't even know who like Darth Vader is?
No, my raid group gets very upset with me for this because they'll put on like some Star Wars armor sets, and I'm like, what is that?
Have you seen Dune?
No.
Okay. Well.
Look disappointed immediately.
I'm gonna watch all of Star Wars before Renegades though.
Just watch Dune. Just watch Dune. You haven't seen-
Dune instead of Star Wars?
Hell yeah, Dune's way better. Sorry, Star Wars fans.
I didn't know they were related.
Ooh.
Star Wars just ripped everything from Dune. Dune was first. You know it's true.
Okay.
You know it's true, chat. All right, guys. That's it from me. Y'all have a wonderful night. And listen, if you get a chance, watch Dune. And when you watch it, come to the realization that we've all come to after watching it, that everything from Star Wars was stolen from it. Good night, everybody.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.